Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect. We're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the path of night.
Last time on Path of Night, Neil's ritual concluded, and he, Britta, and Miles woke. Neil, Johnny, and Wynn questioned whether Miles took the demon's bargain. Lucita, Aisha, and Nick stopped by the haven. Aisha gave Johnny a warrior's weapon and armor, and Nick's bolstered Neil's mind. The red star loomed brighter over New Haven as Wynn was summoned away. When you feel the urge to travel and obey it, and this takes you a short distance, and you find yourself traveling to the town Hamden, which lies just outside of New Haven. You fly over Dixwell Street, you take a right onto Wooden, and when you travel far enough, there is a middle school. There's tons of vans that are parked outside. You can immediately see that there is an armed patrol that is moving around the school. As you land, some of the guards are running the main door, which is this pair of big, heavy steel doors. And it kind of occurs to you that this place, by design, is actually rather difficult to access from the outside. It's pretty well enforced.
As I'm flying there, is it possible to get kind of a sense for what's going on in the streets?
Yes. You took your time examining with a bird's eye view, and you can see that as though the mortals of New Haven were an agitated flock of animals, this panic has washed over the people. There is rioting, there are small fires that are starting. People are getting into fender benders all across the city. People are scrambling to get out. People are scrambling to loot and steal. People are turning on each other. This place is consuming itself.
Wynn she understands that it may not fully be in their power to control their actions. There's this blazing red thing in the sky, and who knows what effect it's having on mortals.
But you do sense one thing. On the underworld, there is this raging storm that whips out lightning like chains that grasp and feel about as though this weather condition is this thinking, hunting thing.
When she is continuing on her destination, she is not stopping to investigate if she feels she can't. But she does watch it. Is this something she's ever seen before? I have to assume the answer is no, but...
With the arrival of the Maelstrom, you have seen this growing intensity in this storm of souls. But now, more than ever, you can see that the storm itself isn't just particles being shaken and tossed about. This is a storm of souls, of pain, of suffering. It is this outer shell of what is oblivion incarnate. You can see that as far as the Shadowlands is concerned, the world is being devoured, by as though consumed by this massive, endless maw.
Is there any evidence of the souls being flung out back to dead bodies?
The only souls you see occasionally are the spirits of specters riding the storm and using it to prowl and expand ever further out in search of prey.
We are not at all ready. Wynn just kind of thinks to herself.
As you land at the school, you feel the shroud crack as some of it is chewed and worn away by the storm. You sense the shroud rating of this area reduced by 1. And it occurs to you that this violence and madness that has exploded across the city of New Haven is feeding something. Something that is dormant but does not sleep.
As Wynn watches the maelstrom reaching what she hopes is as bad as it's gonna get, but she knows it's not, because if something is sleeping, then that means something is going to wake up. She remembers hearing that something was sleeping in Boston Harbor. And why it took her till now to remember it, she doesn't know, but the name Cappadocius comes to mind. And she remembers that that had something to do with the forebears of the Giovanni. Something ancient, something perhaps not unlike Ravana or the eldest, may be behind this maelstrom. And Wynn knows for a fact they're unprepared. And she may be one of the only ones in the city who knows how to fight this. And involuntarily, she shakes out her feathers and shifts back into her human form, her owl feathers now interspersed with dark raven feathers. She'll find a spot away from prying eyes to shift back into her two-legged form. And she will approach the door.
One of the armed men kind of standing before you, they got body armor, they've got this like MP5 that they're strapped with. They turn and they tap this buzzer. Archon Archon Cabot has arrived, ma'am. And you hear a familiar voice of a woman, and she says, "Send her in."
Wynn gives a little mock salute to the guys at the door.
He gives a courteous nod, and he will actually open the door for you.
She will give a nod, like she wasn't expecting him to be polite like that, and walks in. Sound of her boots, kind of giving a soft tap on the floor.
As you go through a lot of the command staff that's present, they also give you courteous nods, kind of getting out of your way and deferring to you as an Archon.
This is deeply discomforting, but she just kind of bears with it. A lot of the past few days have been deeply discomforting.
You are brought to the auditorium, where on the stage there's a collection of televisions that are all kind of set up. There's radio equipment. There's all kinds of stuff that's all unpacked and in an organized fashion spread around. And you see Justicar Lucind standing with this like leather trench coat on and these like red leather gloves, and her hands are behind her back, and she's sort of directing this battle. And when you enter, a group of the Archons that are present immediately approach you. You actually recognize them as Black Alistair and Red Death. And they approach you and kind of give you a nod. Archon Gabbey, we've got a situation.
Yeah, no shit.
We've lost contact with the team that was headed to Hell House.
Who was headed to Hell House?
Josie and Fire Team.
Okay. You've also got probably Cappadocius waking up in, like, right above you.
What? He kind of gives you a look. Justicar Lucind raises a hand. Archon Cabot, come.
Wynn kind of goes past, and she pops herself up on the stage like a dorky theater kid, you know, pushing herself up so that her butt's on the stage and popping up onto her feet, and walks over to Lucind. The maelstrom in the Shadowlands that's been coming for the better part of this year is probably in all likelihood Cappadocius, who was sleeping in the Boston Harbor.
Very well, Archon. By your assessment, how much time do we have?
You don't. It's lashing out chains of lightning looking to capture more wraiths, and it's feeding into it. It's in the process of waking up.
Set your stress for the matter aside. And mathematically speaking, before it is a direct threat to us, how much time do you believe we have?
Wynn will try and follow the directions involuntarily, which kind of causes a knot of anger to broil up, but she can't help but comply. Lex, about how much time do I think we have?
Give me an intelligence plus a cult roll at difficulty 8.
Would Wraith Lore be better?
Whichever. I'll let you know. You may add your Wraith Lore as bonus dice.
Does my necromancy spec add to it? 1.
With one success.
I rolled 3 ones.
With one success, you'd give it about 3 nights to a week at most.
I would say you've got an average about 5 nights, 3 nights if they're going quick, 7 nights if they're given hurdles.
I'm sending you to the field.
Okay, which one?
You are an experienced necromancer, so I will send you to where you are needed most. She holds out her wrist and gives you a look expecting you to drink.
I fucking hate this. I would have just worked for you.
She seems unbothered by this, looks at you plainly, and says, "The Camarilla has existed for centuries, and it has not done so without sacrifice. As I have had to make sacrifices in service to the Camarilla, so too shall you. Be grateful that the Camarilla has called upon you to do something noble and take on work that you yourself say you would have done anyway. There are worse outcomes."
I'm here to punish Miles. That's why I'm here. Let's not pretend.
One step on your journey as an Archon. Now drink.
She, takes her wrist with one hand and extends the middle finger with her other hand and drinks.
You feel invigorated by the blood.
Mm-hmm.
It does not, however, change your blood bond. You've already drank from earlier in the night. You will benefit from the power personal armor until dawn.
What does that do?
Weapons are liable to break when swung against her.
She makes sure to clean her lips so there's nothing left. No evidence. She'll lick the wound to make sure it closes. She's not sure if you have to do that with Kindred, but she'll take pains to do that anyway.
Take a detachment. Seek out and destroy the Harbinger of Skulls that has arrived to New Haven.
Now?
Now.
All right.
Check back in when your search is complete.
Am I just finding them or am I killing them?
Find them.
Okay. Wynn will jump off the stage. Red balloons, paint it black, you're with me.
One of them kind of gives us a look like, that's not my name. The other one just kind of punches his arm. All right, let's go.
You two each pick someone you trust. Someone good at hiding.
The two reach out and pick up 2 who have been working at this whole center that's been set up. As they're doing that, you get an opportunity to sort of listen to some of the chatter that's going on the radio. And it seems that things are worse than Lucinde has described to you. They're reporting in loss of contact at Hell House due to some encounter with a group of infernalists. And in New York, Roman Pendragon's strategy has been a success. A large number of kindred have arrived to New York with intentions on waging a war with Sabbat in exchange for the opportunity at Diablerie. However, this has caused some degree of anarchy as there are kindred frenzying all over the place, and the masquerade has become paper thin in New York. To make matters worse, 2 major issues have happened. One is that Roman Pendragon has become non-communicative. There are reports that he has become extremely agitated and aggressive toward any kindred that comes near him at all. The other is that the team that was working on infiltration and securing the New York Warrens has gone quiet. As this fighting kind of spreads, from like around Grand Central Station to various areas of the city. People are just disappearing and losing contact. The initial Haven raids that took place during the day before this assault were very, very successful. But now that they are directly engaging the Sabbat, there is a massive death toll.
Yeah, who could have seen any of that coming? Wynn just kind of spits the words as she hears them. She will look to one of the communications guys who seems to be staying behind, and she will jot down the phone number of everyone in the Coterie, and she will hand the phone numbers to him. I need you to relay a truncated version of that to His Grace and my Coterie.
Understood.
So they know how to handle things in New Haven. Thank you.
Of course. Kind of gives you a nod.
Is there an armory here?
Yes. What do you need?
We're probably going to be facing wraiths, folks. I can punch the incorporeal ones. I don't know what they're going to be able to do to you. Be ready to be fucked with.
Oh, my favorite one says, and they kind of agree, and
All right.
we'll support as best we can.
Okay. Also, they're necromancers. So, casters. Think of fighting a bunch of Neils.
Tell me a little bit about how you intend to locate this alleged harbinger of skulls, whatever that even means.
So, talk to me a little bit about the effects of extensive necromancy use on the meat side of things.
Well, there is the Path of Ash, which allows for the manipulation of the shroud. Mm-hmm. So it can be raised, lowered, twisted around. You're not overly sure as to what the Harbingers of Skulls themselves can do, but you know that the Giovanni have a great deal of experience with playing with the barrier between worlds. So much that they can actually open doors between them.
Right. To the best of Wynn's knowledge, what we're going to do is, since I do sense that the gauntlet is lower here, we're going to drive around till we feel it lower. Like in a...
You know that necromancy is easier to perform and tends to benefit from the presence of a haunt.
Okay.
So graveyards, old scary places where people have died are very much right in tune with what a Harbinger of Skulls is going to need to work their magic.
Okay, so knowing that, checking the maps before we go, city locations, what have we got in the area? What kind of like graveyard? What kind of like legendary scary manors? What kind of, you know, the Holy Land?
Yeah, you've been a medium in the city for a long time.
Yeah, I've been a medium in the city for a while. I probably am not unfamiliar with some of these haunts.
Just looking at it, you're like, okay, hold on. Knowing what a necromancer needs, there is a place called Historic Grove Street Cemetery.
Okay.
It is a burial ground opened back in 1796 and is the oldest cemetery in the nation, designed as a city of the dead.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're looking for. Wynn will kind of pull out a map. Shroud is already thinner here, guys, but I suspect we're going to find its thinnest, and we're going to find these skull-faced fucks here at the Grove Street Cemetery. It's one of the oldest, it may be the oldest cemetery in the country.
All right. I'm going to pack some weapons. And one of them just marches off. By the time they get back, they're ready to head out to the parking lot and move it. The three of you make your way out. One of them is driving this kind of like Lincoln Town car.
Shotgun.
Like Alistair looks sullen, but kind of gets in the back. And it's not a terribly long trip to the graveyard. But when you get there, the shroud is already much lower than it is elsewhere in the city. And you kind of get the impression that there are things moving around in the graveyard.
Wynn will kind of look back to the crew of people. If your hair stands on end, can any of you see ghosts?
They shake their heads.
Okay. Your hair stands on end, you feel chills. I'll try and be there, but it's gonna feel weird and ooky and gross. But I'll try and keep things from hitting you. Just take care of the things you can see. I'll try to take care of the things you can't see.
When you start kind of having a look-see around the graveyard. One of the first things you notice is that at its heart, there is a bonfire that is burning bright, and it is surrounded by, a dozen and a half vampires, or people, but by the strange body language and the way some of them have very visible body modifications, you quickly piece together that it is the Sabbat that is gathered here. And there are these two priests that are working in tandem with one another, performing this ritual where one at a time, these Sabbat are leaping through flames in more and more gauche and daring ways. And one of them is this kind of young man, big baggy jeans, huge shirt. He's got a backwards baseball cap, and his face has these serpentine scales, and he has these massive cobra fangs and bright yellow eyes, and he's just yelling and screaming in Spanish, kind of directing this very energized, pumped up rite. The other figure, in stark contrast to this serpent of the light that is performing the rite, there is a woman who is clad in the garb of a nun, and she actually has this very almost pious aura to her. Except she's very thin and has the build of sort of kind of the older, decrepit, aged grandmother build, where she kind of hunches over ever so slightly. Her clothes kind of sit over this very frail build, and her face is completely flayed off, exposing bone that is painted with all of these flowers and pretty bright designs all over her bone face. And she, while silent, has this very potent, unholy aura. Even though the Serpent of the Light is being much louder, her presence, while quiet, is as all-encompassing as, that feeling when you're in a grave or at a funeral. The thing, that unspoken presence that quiets the world around it. She is very much that. Around her, amidst these kind of stone pillars, all of the plants that are there are desiccated, withered, and dead, most of it crumbling to ash just with her passing. And though you don't know a great deal about Harbingers of Skulls, you find yourself confident that this is one. And one hand are these beads that kind of, and dangling from them is the Sabbat Ankh. And the other one is this leather-bound book that is probably the Book of Nod. And she is just emanating the Sabbat's power.
Wynn will take a second to survey this. If you guys have experience fighting these guys, I'll defer to you. But my suggestion would be her, then him, then fire.
What the fuck is that thing?
A Harbinger of Skulls. I don't fucking know. Necromancers.
What did it do to its face?
It flayed the skin off. We can talk about it after it's dead.
He just stares at you eyes wide.
Look, man,
okay. All right.
It's
so are we fighting this thing now?
I guess not. I guess she did say don't fight it, just find where they are.
She sort of raises her hands, and a whole swath of the graveyard starts to shake. And crawling from their graves is this wave of ratty, old, sometimes wet, sometimes dried out corpses.
Hold that thought, she says to the one who was freaking out.
As a necromancer, you are aware that the Giovanni do possess the ability to raise a corpse. However, by and large, when they do that, they are raising a corpse. She is working some terrible old magic that is meant to raise armies of the dead.
Do they seem to be pointed in any direction?
It seems that they're actually being gathered towards the Sabbat.
Okay.
That they are essentially raising a force with the intentions of probably using it the next night.
Everything in Wynn says, no, we don't let them use these. But Lucinde told her just to find them.
Yep.
Fuck.
Red Death puts a hand on your shoulder. Look, this is fine. I get it. We're kindred. We're strongest at night, but we actually fight best during the day. Let the crew come in during the day, whittle them down, and we'll hit them hard tomorrow.
I don't think these zombies are going to be beholden to the laws of day and night.
No, but the half dozen or more Sabbat that's with them do. Take every advantage we can. But we're outnumbered and outgunned. If we go down now, here at the start of this invasion, then what?
It's not all that bad for me, actually, but...
I know you care about people. Don't feed me that bullshit.
Yeah, that's why.
Let's go.
Let's... Alright, let's go, Clown Shoes.
The group of you roll Dex plus stealth.
Does my Swift spec count?
No.
Okay, then I have 3 successes.
Okay. With 3 successes, you guys are able to get out of there, and you're able to return to report to Lucinde.
Providing Lucinde is still on the stage, she will pop up on the stage, same as she did before. They're in this graveyard. Harbinger of Skull is there. They seem to be doing some kind of rite with a bonfire, and they have raised an actual army of zombies from the graves.
I see.
I did contemplate cleaning it up. You can credit Red Death for me not touching that butt.
I shall. Rest for now. Your team will deal with it tomorrow night.
I don't know if it can wait till tomorrow night.
It will. Sending out mortal teams now while the Malkavian anti-tribu are enacting their power of madness is a foolish act. We will control the tempo of this conflict. Rushing out to meet the Sabbat every time the Sabbat rushes plays to their hand.
Wynn does see the logic in that, and she's mad about it. But she's not so mad that she's not going to see logic when it smacks her in the face. And she will give a nod. I'm guessing you're probably going to have me stay.
Yes.
Where?
Red Death will direct you to your room.
She'll turn and jump off the stage again. Where am I going, Red Death?
This way. As the group of you set off, ready to face the Sabbat and defend New Haven, for each of you who has a cell phone, your phone rings right at the same time.
What's that?
Don't answer it.
Why? Why not?
Don't answer it. It's Lex. It was like simultaneous.
Yes.
It's not. I don't think it's going to be a good call. Just ignore it.
Can I at least peek at the number? Or...
Johnny peeks at the number on his phone.
Blocked.
It's a blocked number.
Neil, why can't we look?
Because I'm worried that...
What year is it?
99.
Johnny brazenly flips open his phone and fucking says, "Hello?
Seneschal,
Who's this?"
I am reaching out to you on behalf of the Venture Office under orders from Archon Cabot. We have been requested to update you on the situation as it unfolds in New York City at this time.
Well, thank you for the update. Let's hear it.
In New Haven, multiple packs have besieged the city, and at this time, the Josian operatives who have moved on Hell House we have lost contact with them, sir. It would seem that there was an ambush laid at the hands of a group of infernalists. In addition to this...
Seems like the Josians need some leadership. Good call on the Camarilla from taking it. Continue.
In New York, the initial daytime strikes were a complete success. and the Sabbat lost 1/3 of its forces during that time. Roman Pendragon's call for the aid of kindred across the states was also a success. There is a large Camarilla presence in New York fighting against the Sabbat at this time. However, the masquerade has grown thin, and forces are in disarray. Reports indicate that Roman Pendragon has ceased communication with other kindred, has become prone to extreme fits of violence, and is otherwise non-communicative.
Johnny kind of takes the phone and props it against his shoulder so he can light up a Morley. Oh, that sounds fucking terrible. Anything I can do for you about that?
No, thank you. We were simply asked to keep your city officers appraised of the matter.
God damn, you're so thoughtful. Thank you.
Have a good day, sir. And he hangs up.
Okay, sorry.
Johnny kind of looks incredulously at the phone. The fuck do I even have this thing? Closes it and just drops it in the middle, like, phone spot or drink container spot in the car.
Bad news?
Useless news. Looks like Hell House is still a fucking problem, swallowing teams of Josians. New York is going as expected, which is to say a complete shit show. Roman's fucking off the grid, probably mad on Diablerie or something, I don't know. This is fucking madness.
Neil frowns.
Not that this is a great time for it, but there really hasn't been a good time for it. When I went to say goodbye to him, there was some kind of magic ritual happening, and I meant to ask Neil about it, but, and Britta describes what she saw with Zacharias slain to Neil. She describes the circle as she saw it. She describes the setup of the room as she saw it. Various candles, and that kind of thing.
Lex, would I be able to piece together what he was doing here?
Give me an intelligence plus occult roll. Your difficulty is 9.
Does my sorcery spec apply?
Yes.
No ones, one success.
You know that the demon Zophiel's power has been channeled into the Bruja Roman Pendragon. And in this state, Zophiel is suppressed, largely unaware of its surroundings, and is in this dormant state where its power is basically being used as an instrument. The exact details are not overly sure on, but you kind of get the impression that the ritual is intended to steal the power of a demon.
Oh, God, what a stupid idea.
What?
So, Zacharias Lane was doing the ritual, and it, obviously I wouldn't know exactly, but it sounds like what they were doing. Wynn had told us we knew that Slane had the demon bound inside of Raven, and it sounds like what they were doing is trying to use the ritual to sort of harvest the power of the demon, Z, to empower Roman Pendragon. But, like, I don't know, any sort of interruption of that ritual, any flaw in the ritual could screw that whole thing up. And we know for a fact, based on what Wynn was telling us, that he didn't have everything, like that the demon was still capable of lying to him or tricking him or something. So if there's some sort of like external source of power that he could get, or some sort of loophole that he kept in mind or something, then he could subvert whatever the hell was going on. It's like, you don't mess around with demon magic, stupid Tremere.
Something to summarize, we are saying that something may have gone wrong with that.
Something may have altered the terms of the ritual, or changed the flow of power within the ritual. And yeah, it's entirely possible. Even if they didn't, maybe the demon is feeding Pendragon's impulses. If it suddenly was able to do something like that, it's gonna, obviously it's gonna have. This is why you don't mess around with this kind of stuff, because like you never know everything, and so.
Or maybe he's diablerized someone that the demon isn't exempt from taking sway over.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, when you diablerize someone, you devour their soul. And in theory, demons are empowered by the souls of others. So maybe just by demon plus diablerie equals,
I might
Sounds like Roman is having an eventful night.
I might have kissed him while he was in the ritual circle. I don't know if
You stepped inside the ritual circle?
I didn't move it or anything.
But you were inside the ritual circle and you made contact with Roman Pendragon?
Yeah.
And
Johnny grabs the rear view and turns it so that he's looking directly at you.
at Neil or Britta?
And Britta. And you see him kind of give you a nod. Fucking serves him right. And then
Britta.
he turns the rear view back to looking at the road.
Britta looks thoroughly chastised and is not on your page about that.
We don't know what's happening.
Less concerned that maybe it interrupted the ritual and killed Roman Pendragon, and more that Britta would be some sort of link to Pendragon who is channeling the powers of a demon, is kind of my concern.
Let's focus up here.
But this is part of it though, Miles, because like a demon will, if you use a demon's power, it eventually will hollow you out, just like it did to Raven. And so can you imagine like Z walking around with somebody using the body of somebody with the potency of Roman Pendragon? Just apocalyptic. And we're already dealing with enough apocalyptic stuff. And
I could imagine that, but we have pressing matters at hand, like Miles was saying. So I'm not going to imagine that. I'm going to imagine what's fucking in front of us right now. Miles, what's in front of us right now?
Neil like rubs his eyes and like his temples and just kind of falls
Don't
silent.
roll your eyes at me. I can feel them rolling in the back there.
rolling.
I swear to God, I will turn this fucking SUV around
Everyone.
and drop you back off at the Haven. I don't need
Honestly,
this kind of energy in my combat SUV right now. Miles, what are we doing?
Miles checks his phone to see if there's any updates that he's received from anyone in the infrastructure.
Miles, you know that currently Dixwell is actually being overseen by Weathers. If he needs backup, something's probably going down that's pretty bad over there. In addition to that, you receive word that Union Station is currently being overrun. It is being defended by Xavier. When you hear from the gangrel that are fighting out there, one, you hear gunshots kind of coming in over the phone. And the guy tells you, look, we've got these Sabbat packs that are coming through. One, some wrecking crew and deliverance of the unworthy. Xavier's putting in the work, but we're going to need a lot of blood when this is done. We think we can repel them, but we're going to need a lot of blood.
All right. I'll pass the message along.
You get into contact with downtown. Lucita and Kabir are in that area at the moment. They do have some blood stores that were prepared by the Assamites. Due to a lack of the Tremere, though, it's not nearly enough to sustain this force of vampires over the course of like multiple days. But if you want to cash that in now, they can use it to help the gangrel.
Let's keep Union Station secured and help the gangrel. There's no point in... For now, I will cash in these stores from Lucita and Kabir to solve that problem. Is there any other ones going on? You said Dixwell is
Dixwell is where you guys are headed now.
Okay. All right, Johnny, I just checked in. It looks like we're heading our way to Dixwell to see what's going on there. Union Station seems to be being overrun by packs right now, but the gangrel there seem to think they've got it under control.
Have you heard anything else from Weathers?
Not yet, but we're heading to him, so hopefully we hear from him soon.
Do you think the message from the one that you were listening to, Johnny, do you think that means Wynn's okay?
I hope so. I have no idea where she is. I can only assume that the Justicar's office has pulled her away on business, but
She's helping the city, just from a different direction.
she'll be in touch if she needs us. Otherwise, we need to focus on what's in front of us.
Which is...
He
Whatever big's happening down in Dixwell.
He glances over his shoulder really quick at Neil. We can't really afford right now to be running off after her. We have to be focusing on putting all of our attention to the problem at hand.
Neil frowns and like his left hand is very clearly rubbing the photo book that's in his satchel bag absentmindedly, but he snaps back into the present. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Miles, anytime you want an eye on the sky, though, let me know.
Let's see what we're dealing with once we get there.
Turning on to Dixwell now.
First thing you notice is that aside from the light of fires and the red star that hangs overhead, there's no light here. Power's out. Johnny, I need a Dex plus Drive check as a group of something stumbles out into the road right in front of you.
Difficulty.
Difficulty is going to be 7.
Ugh. I have -2 successes.
Well, everyone roll soak.
Do we get to apply our armor?
Yes.
If we're buckled up, do we get, like, bonus dice?
No, I'll get to that in a second.
Oh boy.
This is 13 levels of bashing damage, which I will describe where it's coming from in just a second.
I have 4 successes.
I have 2 successes. So 13 minus 2 is 11. Halved in my favor is 5. So I will take 5 bashing. Almost unconscious.
So I'll take 3 damage.
Same.
I'm taking 4 levels of bashing damage.
Everyone who has suffered damage, this is physical stimuli. I need you to make a self-control roll at difficulty 6. If you're a Bruja, that becomes difficulty 8.
1 success.
1 success.
I will spend a willpower. 2 successes.
What's my difficulty?
8.
2 successes.
You try to swerve out of the way, but whatever it is shoulders the SUV and tips it over onto its side. You catch a very quick glimpse of it, but whatever it is bigger than a van. It is this amalgamation of hands, arms, eyes, rib cages, and flesh. It is sturdy, as though you crash into a boulder, and this thing just very casually shoulders the SUV up on its side with levels of potence that are not possible for most kindred. Now that you guys have gotten a good look at this, and I apologize for a series of rolls, but now I need a courage roll at difficulty 6 to not enter Rotshrek, as you are made to bear witness to this hulking monstrosity of a war ghoul.
Difficulty 4. Esprit de corps.
Between Esprit de Corps and Bliss, I have 3 successes.
Also 3 successes.
4 successes.
2 successes.
Okay. The group of you steel yourselves, and while on your sides, smashed windows, busted up vehicle, you get a look at what Dixwell has turned into. And you see roaming corpses ransacking the street, dragging mortals that they find who are trying to flee to the ground to rip them to pieces. You see a pair of these massive, hulking monstrosities. One of them casually shouldered your SUV onto its side, wreaking havoc and treating this as much as a party as it is a religious crusade. Is a crew of Canaanites who are gorging on blood, slapping each other, playing, breaking windows with bricks, and just having a great time. At the head of this small parade, this procession, is a woman who is dressed in the garb of a nun. Her face is flayed, and you can see painted on her are these beautiful green and yellow and orange and purples and blue decorations that adorn her skeletal face. Walking with her is a serpentine man who in his hands is conjuring fire and throwing it, casually tossing it about and washing the shops and stores and restaurants that make up Dixwell Ave with fire. They are off in the distance, approaching the group of you more directly, cackling, as a man who is bare-chested, wears a trench coat. There's these ripped fishnets that cover his like chest and belly. Around his belly button is a really like sick tribal tattoo with this like black sun, you know, like right around his like belly button and like going down his like happy trail. And slung over his shoulder is a katana. At his flanks, with baggy jeans and these like chains that go from like their hip to wallet and dangle almost down to the knee, are his crew of fellow Sabbat. Some of them you recognize and from simpler times as A-Dog and C-Dog.
Is that Rufio then?
The man with the happy trail and the trench coat, that is Rufio. The three of them are accompanied by 2 fucking war ghouls and sort of gallivanting about, just enjoying the carnage all around them, is what is clearly a Zamisi, based on the twisted flesh and bone spurs that kind of dot their form like a porcupine's quills. And it seems to be the one directing the war ghouls towards your SUV.
Anyone got a play here?
Neil, you get us out and we get to position. If we find a way to eat something so that we can heal up a little bit before this, cool, but really priority, I'll try to shoot down the caster. Johnny, I hate to ask this of you, but I think you're probably up against the blob.
We're on the same page, girl. I got this.
Miles, do you think Dominate would work again like at the Wraith?
Probably.
Then go for the dogs. Steak and bake.
Willing to put them down.
Neil, you ready to run support?
God, I wish Wynn was here. Yeah, let's do this.
All right, I think that's a plan.
When your head hurts and while loading up the Jeep, you find that you have pulled up and are arriving to see your friends being crushed on their side in an SUV by this massive flesh-made monster. This amalgamation of parts. Rob, mark off a week of nightmares effect.
Wait, she just...
Boom! A vehicle pulls up. Multiple Archons are piling out. And one of them you recognize to be Wynn.
One small amendment to the plan. Johnny, work with Wynn.
I think you just got your fucking wish. Let's do this.
Tactics roll.
Okay, give me a roll.
Does the tactics spec of the Jihad apply here?
It does.
All
it
right.
does, yes.
5 successes.
Okay.
2 for Rob, 2 for Tim, 1 for me.
I need everyone to please roll initiative.
Do I still have personal armor?
That depends on the answer to a specific question.
I know. That's why I needed to know that.
She does not approach you immediately about it, but if you do approach her immediately about it, you absolutely have personal armor.
Wynn is probably not seeking her out.
Then no personal armor.
Okie doke.
I'm going to spend 1 blood for celerity.
I will spend for 3 celerity.
My initiative is 20.
9 is my initiative,
10 is mine.
but I spent for 2 dots of celerity.
15 from Johnny, which is wits dex plus, that's it, because I spent all my celerity.
At the top of initiative, Britta, you're up first.
I'm going to try to get out the window, get out the car, and get into the shadows.
That is just a thing you can do.
Britta moves lithely and tries to shoot Neil a reassuring smile as she disappears.
Miles. Miles, Miles, Miles. Miles, you're hurt. You cannot put yourself in danger right now. I will need to draw upon you. And if you are already wounded, it may turn you to ash.
No choice here. I say in my head.
Choose.
How far away is everybody besides the Warghoul?
Discounting many of the rots running around and the magicians that are further down the street, as I described, most of the rest are within 15 yards of you.
I will climb out the front window, draw my sword, and approach and attack Rufio. I will spend... let's go 2 blood to heal. I'll make that stamina roll.
And remember, wound penalties do apply.
I think I have like 7 successes.
Okay. It's time for a duel of fates, bro. He readies his weapon.
We shall see how your fate turns out.
No, your fate.
All right. Am I close enough to attack him, or do I have to spend another turn?
You can attack him.
9 successes.
8 will carry over into damage.
Is he attempting to block?
Yes, he'll attempt to parry. He has 3 successes to parry.
Great. I'm going to make the roll to see if I shatter his blade.
Yep.
Even without big hands coming in here, that thing shatters. We're looking at like 6 successes.
Okay. You cut straight through the blade.
I'm still taking his parry off.
No.
Okay. I will spend a blood for potence, which is a new feeling. 7 plus potence is 11. He doesn't appear to be wearing any armor, right?
Yes. His trench coat has provides level.
I'm not going to spend a blood point to negate a damage. 1.
Oh no! Are those the dice?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah. You cut deep and he collapses into torpor.
Just cut straight through the blade, straight through him.
Yeah, nearly bisected.
I pull the sword out, flick the blood away, looking at the 2 dogs.
They resist frenzy. Boy, seem pretty dedicated to come fight you now. The woman with a skeletal face raises her hand and points at Britta. Wynn, you can see into the underworld. And swirling around this harbinger of skulls are these twisted, grotesque specters whose flesh are stretched out. They have tendrils in their mouths that kind of whip and lash about. And they look like the stuff of nightmare. And with glee, they go rushing toward Britta. Johnny.
Fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna split actions 3 times. So to get out and draw the axe, to attack twice. I will spend a willpower for each of these attacks. The first attack will have 3 successes, and the second attack will have 2 successes.
2 and then 1 will carry over into damage on each attack.
I am spending a point of blood for potence for this round. So the first attack will be 10. What kind of damage is off this axe? Blood-tempered axe?
It is aggravated damage.
So 10 aggravated damage.
Hell yeah.
We'll soak 3 of that and take 7.
Still standing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then 11 aggravated damage.
I'll take 9 from that. So while grievously wounded, it is still on its feet and fighting.
And that is Johnny's turn.
Next up are A-Dog and C-Dog. They will both unleash a flurry of blows on Miles.
What kind of weapons?
A crowbar and a fire axe.
I will parry the fire axe using one of my other actions.
The first fire axe attack has 1 success.
Way more than 1. Do I get to roll to shatter the fire axe, or is that only on attacking throw?
Whenever your weapon connects with another weapon.
Got it. Shatters.
Oof.
Okay. For a second attack, he'll attempt to stab you with what remains of his crowbar.
Is he splitting his actions?
Yes, they are both splitting their actions for a flurry of blows.
Got it.
He has 2 successes to hit. 1 will carry over into damage.
Yep.
And he is dealing 3 levels of damage.
I soak more than 3.
Okay. Oh, sorry. You had actually broke the fire axe. So, yeah, he tries to stab you with a chunk of wood. Next one. They will attempt actually, they'll spend a willpower to redirect and will attempt the old grapple bite. They have 1 success to grab you.
I don't really want them to do that, do I?
That's up to you. It's just a Bruja grabbing you.
I will parry the attempt to grapple me.
You only need 1 success.
4 successes.
With 4 successes, you wave him off with your weapon, but he does try with a second attack to grab you anyways. And completely fails.
He's very afraid of that blade.
That will mark the end of the quote-unquote dogs, and we are on to Neil.
Neil will scramble out of the car, dragging himself out like the shattered back window, and then attempt to cloak the gathering on everyone. Can I see Wynn at this point?
Yeah, you
Perfect.
saw Wynn pull up.
He doesn't shout because he's trying not to draw, but looks directly at Wynn with this like, oh, thank God you're here. Thank God you're safe.
Yeah.
Look. And then I will attempt to cloak the gathering to vanish everyone. Lex, what is the of the crowd who is currently looking at me and can like draw line of sight to me? What's the highest wits alertness?
In the immediate vicinity, you're looking at a difficulty of 6.
I am +2 dice from Britta, -2 dice because I'm fucked up. Okay, I only get 1 success, so we do not disappear.
But you get the +2
But
diff to be hit.
everybody, can I include Wynn in this? Or is she too far away?
She's a little too far away.
Okay.
Actually, go ahead. It was your wish.
So everybody basically like fades out a little bit. Any attacks that are made against any of you are at +2 difficulty. Unless they can negate obfuscate or whatever. But like, whenever they try and do something, they have to roll, or else they're at +2 difficulty to attack you. And that's me included. And then he sort of like hunkers down, crouched behind the thing.
The other Warghoul kind of gives this like twitch of confusion, and its body seems to kind of take a step back and start spasming. The Zamisi controlling it is like trying to direct it, but it's not responding to commands.
Any kind of Sabbat survivor lore I could check on to see why that might be?
Yeah, go ahead, roll.
Was that intelligence plus Sabbat lore?
Yep. Diff 5.
Well, hot damn, 2 successes.
With 2 successes, you recall this urban legend that had existed among the Sabbat locally for a while. They had called it the Weeping Bear, and it was this Warghoul that had suddenly stopped obeying its maker and had gone on this rampage under the direction of God knows what.
Turns out bringing Warghouls into New Haven's a bad idea. Oh, fuck. That's not good for anybody. Man, episode 8 callback.
Damn, alright.
Is it Wynn's turn?
It is.
What the fuck? She's not totally sure why she's here. Her head hurts. She kind of looks to her crew. Like, do they have any fucking answers?
They look a little confused. Last you remember, you were actually suiting up at the armory and were getting ready to put on some gear and hit the road. And then all of a sudden, you're here.
Okay, I don't think our plan has changed that much.
No.
Go after those 2. She's releasing specters. I'm going to try and keep them under control.
Tell me what you do about the specters.
Wynn is going to whip out that sepulcher path and pop claws, and hopefully they can work in concert to take apart some specters.
Okay. Give me an attack roll as you lash out at some specters.
3 successes.
2 will roll over into damage.
I will spend a blood for potence for 4 automatic successes. Some of these dice are getting put in timeout.
Oh, no.
No successes. 4 successes from the potence.
Oh, there we go.
You rake your claws deep into its corpus, and the flesh doesn't bleed as much as split apart from itself, revealing this gaping wound that leads into a sort of wispy and non-distinct flesh. Like normally when you rip into things, you can see organs, you can see all the little parts in action. With this thing, it's not so much.
How much damage did that seem to do to it? Is it still, like, thriving, or is it, like, hurting?
So it's made of corpus. It doesn't have wound penalties.
Okay.
They don't slow down from the damage that they
Okay.
take. They're either still up or down.
Okay.
The other war ghoul, Johnny, it picks up the car and tries to smash you with it. 2 successes to hit.
Dodge!
Yeah, absolutely. 6 successes, I'm not dodging. 2 successes? Let's fucking get out of the way, huh?
You don't want to get hit with a car twice in one scene?
No, thank you. Well, the 1 takes my 10 away, but that's 3 successes to dodge.
You dodge. It kind of, with one scooping motion, lifts and mashes the car right beside you. It is torn asunder, and this thing is playing with easily over a ton of weight.
What car did it smash?
The SUV you arrived in.
Johnny glances over at Miles, glances back at the war ghoul, and kind of nods like, I understand.
Who has celerity actions?
I do.
I do.
Johnny does.
Everyone but Rob.
Britta, you're up.
The situation's getting bloodier, and with the arrival of Wynn, there's some hope, but people are banged up, and as much damage as people are pouring in, the field's still just as populated. And Britta feels something sharpen in her that she hadn't felt sharpened before, at least not in a way where she felt in control. Something awakening in her training that sends her into a controlled fury. I'm going to activate her Berserker merit, which will...
It will reduce the difficulty of your combat rolls by 3.
Yes, thank you. Now what this means is that I must take combative actions unless I'm doing things such as running, dodging, that kind of thing. But, that being said, locked in and a new level of aggression showing through, I'm going to follow the plan, seek cover, and Britta will point the assault rifle towards the Samitsi. As I am shooting from obfuscation, does this count as an attack from stealth?
Yes.
So on the stealth roll, I got 6 successes. So then we're moving on to the assault rifle roll.
Headshots plus 2 difficulty.
That will be, I believe, canceled out and a little bit more by the Berserker.
Yes.
8 successes.
Okay, 7 will carry over into damage.
11 successes.
They will take 7 levels of lethal damage and are reduced incapacitated.
There you go.
I believe that pops Britta out of obfuscate. But she is behind cover, and there's an intensity in her that you might recognize from her movements among the Tamahera. She is intensely focused. She seems driven.
It reminds you of that time she shot Vito. Miles, it's your turn.
Which one of these dogs was trying to grapple me?
I believe Sea-Dog.
I believe Sea Dog is going to receive a sword to his body. As I take a swing at him, I go, "You should have left my domain."
Oh shit, you're the prince!
The gold circlet? I'm just going to cut him in half.
Doves cry.
This man has delusions of adequacy.
8 successes.
Well, that's the hit. He will dodge. He has 4 successes to dodge.
So 4 roll over.
3 roll over.
3 roll over, right. 6, 10 damage.
He will take 7 and is incapacitated. No cap.
After dodging his blows and delivering the line, I now look at the last of the dogs.
Oh, hell no. He fails his frenzy check. Johnny, we're on you.
After having dodged the car that I arrived in, I will deliver what I hope to be a killing blow to this war ghoul in front of me. 9 dice reduced to 8 from wound penalties. 2 successes.
Let me know how much damage it is.
13 aggravated damage.
It soaks none of it, and you cut the beast down with your axe, and it slumps to the ground dead. The other warghoul, moving with immense speed, rushes over, and with a loud, wet crunch, begins to feast on the dead warghoul, ignoring you completely, and just shovels limbs and flesh and bone into its many mouths. The remaining dog jumps on Miles and attempts to grab him. With 3 successes.
I will activate my sword celerity.
Badass gift.
4, 5.
Okay, with 5 successes, you keep him off you. Wynn,
I continue wailing on that specter.
let's go.
3 successes.
2 will roll over into damage.
Okay, now we're getting gross. With potence, that will be 15 levels of ag.
With your second strike, you discorporate it completely. And wherever it has gone from here.
She will take steps to get to the head of the line of specters headed towards Britta.
Okay.
I only spent for 1 celerity action.
Miles,
I am out of celerity actions.
Johnny,
Since this second war ghoul has done me the favor of closing the distance, I will continue to chop and put this one down as well.
go for it.
3 successes to hit.
2 roll over into damage.
13 ag.
It will take 10. When you hit it, no aggravated damage splashes up against you, but the weapon is acidic. The blood is acidic.
Ah, familiar.
Wacky fun.
I've connected 2 dots.
You ain't connected shit.
I've connected them.
After Johnny, the remaining dog attacks Miles.
Yeah, I figured.
He has 3 successes to grab onto Miles.
Grabbed.
Fangs bared, wild look in his eyes. And we go to Wynn.
She will go as far as her feet will take her before she will find another specter in the row and take another swing at it.
Go for it.
6 to hit.
5 will roll over into damage.
12 levels of ag to this one.
He is destroyed outright.
Okay, and she will take another few steps towards the head of the specter pack to try and head them off before they can get to Britta.
Okay. Johnny, do you have any remaining actions?
Oh, yeah, buddy. I will dispatch the war ghoul in front of me. 1 success.
0 will carry over.
That's 3 ones. Another 13 ag.
It is destroyed by your hand. And you need to roll to soak 1 level of aggravated damage.
7 successes.
You soak it very easily, however, the acid is an Elder level power, and as a result, its acidic effect does reduce your armor rating by 1.
So Johnny's leather jacket will be destroyed.
This is going to apply to the blood tempering.
Oh. So do I still have the jacket?
The jacket also loses a level of armor.
So the leather jacket is gone. Blood tempered is damaged. Understood.
What do we have left? I think we're on to new round.
Did
I
you
still have a celerity action, bud.
Oh, you went 5 actions, eh?
Oh, yeah, brother.
Oh, fucking right. Go ahead.
Goodbye.
I throw a blood-tempered axe into the back of the dog. Is that athletics or is that melee?
It's going to be athletics.
4 successes. I'm guessing 3 carryover?
Yes.
15 ag.
He dies. Miles is very nearly hit as the axe bout goes through him.
Nice aim.
Can I have that back?
New round. Britta.
At the start of the new round, I will spend another blood for celerity. Currently, the enemies we have on the field are farther down, correct?
Yes.
Johnny will actually go up to initiative 20 because I'm not spending any celerity this round.
Okay.
Looking to seek cover and to keep on shooting. Magic users first.
Okay. Which one are you targeting?
Yeah, that's true. They both look equally magic-y. I will shoot at the one without the face.
Okay. So you shoot. I'm not going to have you roll. But the bullets are consumed by this entropic field that surrounds her. And they rust, lose all momentum, and fall harmlessly to the ground before slowly atomizing away into nothing.
You see Britta seek new position, seek new cover. She goes to shoot, and there is no response apart from that.
What have the other Archons been doing?
There's a shit ton of zombies and whatnot walking around, and they've been just keeping the area clear and just keeping you guys from being overwhelmed by the other Sabbat that are present and the undead.
Very good.
Johnny will attempt to spend a point of blood to heal, in addition to doing other actions. So he's going to make a stamina roll.
Go for it.
Difficulty 8.
It is diff 8.
2 successes. So he will heal a point of bashing damage, and then for his action, he's going to split it up a little bit. The intent is to grab up Rufio, drink 3 points of his blood, and then Potence smash his head into the ground. So I will gain net 2 blood, and that'll be Johnny's action.
Miles,
How far away are these two? Fire and No Face?
about 50 yards.
Is that close enough for me to use Dominate on Fire Guy?
They are not going to be able to hear you over the chaos of the city.
All right, I will start moving towards the Flame Guy.
The Harbinger and the Flame Guy will go. The Serpent of the Light. Neil, you're consumed by flames. Take 3 levels of aggravated damage at diff 9 to soak.
Cannot soak it.
Okay. Take 3
I
ag.
take 3 ag.
Don't you have armor?
Can I use armor when you're consumed by flames?
Sure, but it's diff 9.
I will soak 1 and take 2 ag.
Take 2 ag.
It's an important one, bud.
I need a raw strike check. Difficulty 9.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Wouldn't it be difficulty 7?
So I've got 5, 1, 2, 3.
It's not a fear power. He's just literally on fire. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll call it a fear effect. Because,
Because I need all the help I can get. I get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a +2 difficulty to be hit. I don't know if that counts for being lit on fire.
No,
does
'cause
not.
he's not.
It's not an
He's
attack
actually
roll.
targeting me.
Yeah.
Gang's all here. Fire.
So
or
here's the
not.
deal.
Fucking
I'm taking 2 ag. I had 5 bashing on me. What happens here? I don't remember how this works.
So mark down 2 more, and then your top 2 health levels you're going to turn into X's.
But if you have bashing and you're in cap, are you at in cap?
Vampires don't go unconscious.
Yeah.
Okay. I could not remember. I am spending one of my extraneous willpower because I got a 4, a 2, and a 2. So that 1 willpower keeps me from running.
You're still in it, Miles. She reaches out to touch you.
Who is she in this instance?
The Harbinger of Skulls.
Okay, just checking.
She has 9 successes to touch you. She touches your cheek and says, "Rest now, my sweet prince." And for the first time in a very, very long time, you feel sick. And you don't just feel sick, you feel more sick than you have ever felt in life. Your eyes become sunken. You're covered in sweats of blood. Your limbs are blackened, and your body is ravaged by the bubonic plague. Within the next 24 hours, you will enter a torpor that you may not leave. Beyond that, it doesn't actually apply any penalties. You just have a clock now, and you're extremely virulent.
To other kindred or to mortals?
Both. With ancient terrible power, she brings harm to Miles.
Do I need a frenzy roll for that?
If you're asking, you're rolling.
I know. That's 3 successes.
Neil.
Neil had been hiding behind an SUV that was then picked up and torn in half, and then he was lit on fire from down the street. So he will do what anyone would do, panic in that situation, and scream and throw himself on the ground and start patting himself out and try and stop, drop, and roll.
Give me a Dex plus Athletics.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Remember your tactics bonus.
Yep.
And your willpower.
I have to spend that willpower to ignore wound penalties, or else I get -1 die, even including the tactics pool. So by spending willpower to ignore, I have a 4 die pool here. All right, well, I don't have any specs that would apply, but I do get, again, thanks to this tactics pool, 2 successes.
Okay. Thanks to the tactics pool, you are not consumed by flames and instead put yourself out. You stop, drop, and roll.
That's my whole turn.
When you go.
What does the shroud look like around her?
Thin, and around her there is an aura of death. People who are living, plants, those things simply wither and die in her presence. She's like this sliver of oblivion walking the streets of New Haven.
What does this road beneath her do? Does, like, the road crack?
No.
Like, nothing? Okay.
It grows like pale and tarnished, but...
So I will be smacking that specter.
Okay.
2 successes.
1 roll over into damage.
And I spent blood for 4 automatic potence successes on damage.
Yeah.
14 ag on the specter.
It is destroyed with 1 fell swoop.
Wynn will then start moving toward the Harbinger and the Snurson.
Okay. Who has taken celerity actions?
I have.
Britta.
I will attempt to shoot the Serpent of the Light.
Shooting for the head again?
Yes. 11 successes.
10 will roll over into damage.
Fuck 'em up.
+1 for the headshot.
7 damage. Lethal.
He will take 4.
Seeing the effect on her bullets, but still driven to purpose, Britta just shifts targets and starts laying into the Serpent of the Light.
Miles.
As I move over to engage the Snake Man, I go, she destroys equipment or anything that gets near her. Wynn, I think you're best at this.
On it.
7 to hit.
6 will roll over into damage.
I'm going to spend for my potence. It'll be 6 damage.
His scaly flesh is actually quite resistant to the damage of the weapon, and he will soak 5 levels of damage. He will take 1. Wynn, do you have any remaining celerity?
I have 1 more. I'll close in on her.
Okay. With the remaining action, you close in and arrive to the Harbinger of Skulls.
I will stay out of her easy reach. I will close in on my action, or she will have to come to me. I am not going to be right there for her to reach out and touch.
Okay, sounds good. Anyone else have celerity actions?
I can hit the Snake Man again.
Okay.
10 to hit.
9 will roll over into damage.
7 damage.
He will be reduced to torpor. Round 3. Britta, you're up.
How close are people locationally to her?
Miles and Wynn are relatively nearby.
We know what happens to inorganic matter. We don't know what happens to organic matter. Britta is going to use her newfound potence that Johnny's given her. Pick up one of the dead bodies and hurl it at the caster. Is this Dex Athletics?
Dex Athletics.
Does unspent celerity count?
Yeah.
Difficulty?
7.
Does her Berserk count for this?
Yeah.
5 successes.
Okay. 4 will roll over into damage. It's a 3 bashing weapon.
If you spend a blood, you get 3 potence.
We're in this, sure. 9 successes, including the potence.
She will soak 6. She will take 1 level of bashing damage, and she will turn to look at you.
Does she need a frenzy check?
No.
Britta, having stirred her blood to the purpose of potence for the first time in that way, is feeling a strange mixture of emotions, all weirdly affected by the state that she's in. But I don't know that any Tomahera training is enough to not feel some fear at that. If I have any movement remaining, I will use it to get away.
All right, so you check the body and start running away from her.
Absolutely.
Miles.
Can I gain eye contact with her?
She doesn't have eyeballs.
Does that preclude me from using Dominate on her?
You have no idea, man. You've never seen anything quite like this. You certainly have no idea whether or not you have eye contact.
It's fantastic.
You know what? I pick up the Snake Man's body and throw it at her. Said diff 7? Or is
Yes, it is diff 7. You are wielding a person, so slightly in effect.
4 successes.
3 will roll over into damage. I will allow the big hand spec to apply.
That'll be 8 successes.
She will soak 7.
I will move farther away.
It is the Harbinger's turn. She is going to close the distance and grab you. All right, Miles. Wow. She has 1 success to grab you.
I am attempting to dodge. Oh boy, successful. At least 6.
Okay. You will avoid her bone crafting you.
Just, no!
So Miles jumps back very gracefully, yells, "No!"
Look, I feel terrible
And she
already.
just creeps towards you with long, spindly fingers. Johnny.
I would like to split my action into two parts. Part one would be using leaps and bounds to jump as high into the air as I possibly can. And part two would be to land boots first on her head.
Okay. No roll necessary for leaps and bounds. You aren't landing on anything particularly slippery. Why don't you go ahead and give me your dex brawl at 50% dice pool?
Would you consider this to be a street fighting maneuver?
I would.
Okay.
100%.
5 successes.
A 4 will roll over into damage.
I will spend a point of blood to get automatic successes from my current potent 8. Do I get any additional damage dice from the fact that I jumped very high into the air and came screaming down like a comet?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 damage dice.
I love it. Well, unfortunately, my powerful arms don't count here.
Nope.
That will be 13 lethal damage.
She will soak 9. And actually, this just becomes bashing damage against her.
Fair enough. It is just bashing. Yeah,
Yep,
I'm not even thinking about that. Yep.
But she will take 2 levels of bashing damage total.
Outstanding.
She is now at 3 bashing. Oh, Johnny, your boot's fucked. Neil, how you doing over there?
All right, I got a couple of questions because everybody else is up that way. And I'm a little ways away.
Yeah.
You said the city is a little too chaotic and shit right now for her to be able to hear me from here, right?
Yes, unless you have some means of getting your voice over.
So instead, Neil will stagger to his feet, still smoking, and look at her. She is in my line of sight, right?
She is in your line of sight.
And then reach out and make a twisting, grasping gesture with his hands, and then suddenly lift up. And I am going to try and evaporate the blood inside of her body.
Okay.
She gets to roll stamina plus fortitude to resist me at difficulty 9, which I know she's got a crazy ass pool, but this is what I can do from here. I have to spend a willpower to ignore my will penalties, or none of this is getting off. But that means I have a 12 die pool.
Remember your tactics.
12, that's what makes it 12. Willpower 10 plus 2 dice. Ooh. All right, well, I will have 7 successes.
At diff 8?
Actually rolled really well.
2 successes at diff 9.
Okay, so what happens? Oh, wait, diff 8, not 7.
Correct.
So that's, what did I say, 7?
You said 7.
That's 5 successes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You have 3 more than her.
Okay, so she will lose 3 blood as it begins evaporating out of her pores and sockets and turns to mist around her. And she has to make a courage test at difficulty 6.
She'll spend a willpower.
Yeah.
And she has 4 successes.
Okay, so despite the agony, she is able to take an action next round.
Is this a pain effect?
This is a pain effect.
She's totally...
Oh, that makes sense. With any remaining movement or whatever I have, I'll start staggering down the street towards the rest of the coterie.
Wynn.
She is not paying attention to me currently, right?
You don't know where her eyes are looking. Their pitch.
Has she turned her body away from me, I guess, is my question.
No, I mean, she's aware of her surroundings and able to defend herself.
Okay.
She's not randomly putting her back to people in a fight. She seems competent enough to not do that.
Wynn will dart in and slash.
Go for it.
4 to hit.
3 will roll over into damage.
I'm spending for potence. That'll be 15 ag.
Do you have something that negates armor?
Do I have something that negates armor?
Yeah.
I do not.
Okay. She will soak 11 levels of aggravated damage. That puts her at 4 more ag on her. She is brought to incapacitated damage with bashing, so she stays on her feet. Who's got celerity actions?
I have 1.
I have 2.
Britta, go.
I am continuing on with my terrible strategy, and I'm looking for one of the dogs to hook at her.
All right, you start checking a dog. Go.
Dexterity athletics?
Yes, diff 7, then modified by your merit.
This is absolutely not graceful. This is not counting my spec. 7 successes.
6 will roll over into damage.
1 success.
She is hit and unfazed.
And after that, I will keep on running.
Okay, Miles, we're on you.
I'm going to hold just in case she tries to touch me.
Understood. Johnny.
Johnny is going to attempt a massive old uppercut.
Okay.
6 successes.
5 will roll over into damage.
Going uphill here with the bashing, but we got just 7 bashing damage.
She soaks 3 damage, so she will take 2 bashing, which will wrap. She is at crippled with lethal damage and has 1 bashing. Wynn, we go to you.
I'm a raker again. 1 success.
No dice will roll over into damage.
10 ag coming at her.
She will soak 6 levels of aggravated damage, and you will ash her.
When she starts to ash, Wynn will take several steps backwards in case something comes leaking or spurting out.
You definitely feel that there is something like wraithly about her form. And as the ash crumbles, a like spectral spirit does seem to remain, but that also fades away.
Path of Night is a Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Venture was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was composed for Path of Night by Brian Matolius. Find him online at brianmatolius.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We can be found on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show on ko-fi.com/pathofnight. Find us on twitter.com/pathofnightpod, on facebook.com/pathofnightpodcasts, or email us at pathofnightpodcasts@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
Oh, is she moving to physically touch me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you rushed over to them
I
and closed
wasn't-
the distance. On her turn, she reached out and touched you.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that was happening because I definitely don't want to be touched.
Gently caressed the side of his face.
9 successes, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, harbingers are scary.
That's not good, man.
I was going to do something about that, but I'm on fire now, so.
She gum out your face.
No, I'm going to have to do my best here. Yes, actually, I need those 2 because I keep forgetting.
Not in the face.
Wait, is the Harbinger also the one that lit you on fire?
No,
That's the...
That's the Serpent of Light.
that's the Snursen.
Okay, so, alright, so we killed the Zemitzi, the War Ghouls. We just have a Serpent of Light and a Harbinger of Skulls now?
And however many fucking specters are left.
Yeah.
But that's a huge...
I can't see that. That's not
No.
my problem.
I can see it, but I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Also, who summoned them?
The Harbinger.
So just kill the Harbinger.
I have 9 successes to parry.
Really?
Are you touching your weapon to her?
I think so.
Okay.
When-
It crumbles to dust.
I think it's immune to that.
It's
The
not immune
part-
to elder powers?
It takes very elder powers.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Can you retake it, crumbles to dust?
Let me make sure this is what
Tim wants to
Tim
do.
is doing. Yeah.
Can he just dodge without?
Any inanimate object that touches her is
He
destroyed.
can, it's just not as... He's not as good at it, so it's...
That touches her?
Yeah.
So if I axe her a question, the axe is gone?
That's what happened to my bullets. They got stuck in the field around her.
God damn.
I have questions. I'll wait for my turn.
By anything short of the blood of dragons or other similarly potent monsters.
Elder power. Yep.
I mean, I guess they're not very good at it, though.
Who's that?
Harbingers of Skulls are scary.
I just didn't expect...
This is a monster that wields the very concept of entropy as a weapon. I promise you, it is powerful enough to break an object.
No, I will... God, what was that going to do?
Great question. It's not going to be good.
If you are sacrificing your blade to save yourself, that's perfectly acceptable. But I want to make sure you know that you're doing that.
I mean, if this can break your blade, I don't know what I want to do to you, but, you know.
Is he able to use his quick draw on a different sword? In reaction?
No, not to parry.
Gotcha.
What's your dodge pool?
You still have your katana,
Extremely
right?
less.
You do have your +2 dice. I don't know how much that helps.
I can't make 9.
Okay.
In a different thing.
This is the extra special sword you just got gifted?
Yep.
Fuck.
I will take the hit and see what happens.
Wow, you are a salesman.
You need it.
I will take the hit and see what happens. Will Tim give up his character for an extra cool sword? The answer is yes. It turns out.
Miles may be gone, but the sword will endure.
My legacy.